Hey everybody, Matt Michaels here along with Simon Street. And should I say, in this case, guys and ghouls, welcome
Nice.
to our special Halloween edition here. It's the day before Halloween. We're releasing this, and I have two of the most enthusiastic Halloween people, although Matt's more of a Christmas person.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I love it too, but that is her department.
So we got Shaul Guerrero, who is one of our favorite people on the earth. She is amazing. Not only does she come from lineage of wrestling, which is, it is what it is. You know, you can't control your lineage, your heritage, but man, she's cut her own, path. She's an amazing dancer, and she's an amazing ring announcer. And she's also got some ring skills that have been kind of coming back a little bit, but we're not gonna go too far into that. And Matt Reinhold, who, and I hope I didn't butcher that horribly.
It's okay.
Matt, you might remember him as Aiden English. Pretty famous for the Rusoff Day. And Matt is one of, I think, my favorite in-ring, not only personalities, but competitors. You have always shown skill, and your storytelling is amazing. And that's, we'll leave it at that.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Because it's Halloween, and we want to get into some stories about the season and why we're so excited about it, and everything that surrounds it. Shaul, let's start with you.
Good idea.
Thanks for the glowing introduction too. I'm like, oh.
Matt, you know what? And I know there's probably people out there who goes, "You guys are full of shit. You're just blowing smoke up my ass." We don't do that. We're very, very honest when we say things like that.
Oh.
So, Shaul, growing up, what kind of things did you guys do for Halloween? What was a Halloween household in the Guerrero family like?
So actually, it's kind of like the polar opposite of what I do now. I grew up super religious, so like my mom and dad were pretty like Jesus crispy, like when we were little, and so for like a minute we didn't they always let us dress up. They were never like no, you can't do anything like that or anything. But we didn't have too many scary Halloweens. We had a lot of Halloweens where we went to church, kind of, and you did
That's scary.
And it was
It's terrifying.
It is.
I were a kid.
But we never said Halloween. It was fall festival. So
really? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, man. We went to hardcore Baptist church, man. So
fall festival.
So that kind of explains why now as an adult I'm like all of it, all the evil, I'm super into it right now. Actually not right now, for the past couple of years. So but yeah, typical Guerrero Halloween was going to fall festival. They always had goldfish, you won goldfish all the time. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Do you remember that as a kid?
Yeah. Actual goldfish or the crackers, the goldfish?
No, live goldfish. These poor things were being handed to 7-year-old children, and they were running around Mom, I have a fish! Oh my God, they were all dead by the time.
Yeah, where's PETA when you need him?
For real,
they were always dead. I think that's the scariest it got at Fall Festival, was just a bunch of dead goldfish being slung around by 8-year-old children. But
so what's the Halloween like? Dead creatures, floating around in bags,
Yeah.
It's pretty spooky.
It would be everyone would have, some kind of thing like cups or something like that, and you'd throw a ping pong ball, or it would be you'd penny something or another. But you ended up with 1 or 2 goldfish inevitably, and they were dead within a week.
Absolutely. They were totally dead. I like that at your church though, you were throwing cups into you were throwing ping pong balls into cups. Did they have you guys starting early on beer pong at your church?
So I grew up as a Eastern Orthodox, which I'm Serbian by heritage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, the first shot I ever took was when we would go to gatherings with the old timers, guys who were in their 60s, 70s, 80s. They found it very funny to give a shot to a kid, not knowing what I was drinking. You know, you think, oh, this is like apple juice or something. Boom. And you just like, oh, and they would just laugh their asses off. So yeah, we kind of.
That's hardcore. Because I mean, like, I remember as a kid, like, you get your first sip of beer, like, dad's being funny, haha. And I remember being like repulsed, like, ugh, you drink this for sport. But like a shot, that's hardcore, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I would have handled that. But yeah, that was kind of like what Guerrero Halloweens were. But like my parents were a lot, I think, less strict than like the rest of my family. I remember I had a lecture one time from my Uncle Hector because I watched The Ring with my family, and they were like, well, you can't let the devil in the house, and that movie's letting the devil in the house. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm 11. I don't have the authority right now, so we put a movie on, I fucking watched it. But yeah, like I would like to say our Halloweens are a lot more spirited. Actually, you haven't celebrated Halloween with me in like years. Normally I have a big Halloween party and I send him away. Or you're out of town. Yeah. Or you're out of town. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Matt, okay. So Simon, we'll get to you in a second. I want to hear Matt, what was your experience like growing up? You know, you grew up in the Chicagoland area.
Mm-hmm.
Did you grow up in Lyons?
Oh, I mean, not Lyons, Illinois, but like in Lyons Township. So it was the town called LaGrange.
In LaGrange.
Yeah,
sure.
west suburbs.
Yeah, because I'm from Berwyn.
Oh, really?
What?
Berwyn.
Yep, Morton West Pride right there for you.
Okay, yes.
Y'all are neighbors.
Our high schools have competed against one another multiple times. Absolutely.
Oh, excuse me, rivals.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking when the way Matt said it. I said, that sounded like a rival chant.
Well, let's put it this way. Everyone around us were great in sports, so it wasn't as much of a rivalry as much as a pounding we always took. I got to say though, the only thing that we were really good at was our wrestling team.
I remember the Morton wrestling team. Absolutely.
Yeah. So when you were growing up, did you do the typical trick or treating? Did you get all the goods from? Because we would actually, as we got older, we would get away from Berwyn and we'd go to places like LaGrange or Tunner's Grove to get the good candy.
Oh yeah, so you knew around us, it was, we wouldn't travel that far. We were but you would scope out the nice neighborhoods in the so like I grew up in like unincorporated LaGrange Highlands countryside. So like everything was okay in our area, in our blocks, but then I remember there was this neighborhood, Indian Head Park, and there was this neighborhood like Ridgewood, like this kind of like not quite gated, but kind of a separated community. And that's where, like, I mean, you knew that like, the rich kids from school lived there. Oh. And so that's where you would go to get the full-size candy bars.
King size.
You know what I mean? Or like the people who had the really good, like, hey, just take one bucket, but they were like badass candy, and you would just be like, hey, buy one, you mean one handful, right? And it was always a pillowcase. It was always a pillowcase.
Yes,
that's
really? Oh.
All I've ever used as a kid was a pillowcase. And it was full of candy by the end of the night.
Oh wow.
Full pillow. That thing lasted. I mean, I wish I could say it lasted 6 months. It should have lasted 6 months, but it probably. I made it last about. Halfway through, November or something like that, like 4 weeks, maybe.
November, my gosh. You are a beast.
I mean, it was like, you would have that night or whatever, and then every day there would be, like, you make sure it was in your lunch for school, and then it was a dessert after dinner. So it was like lunch dessert and dessert every day for like 30 days. Yeah, it was great.
What was the dental bill like for your parents?
Yeah, your poor mom.
I have had
Oh yeah.
I'm tapping everything. I have had stupid luck with my teeth.
Wow.
I've had probably, I honestly, I think I've had one filling in 32 years. And I'm not like a hardcore brusher flosser. Like I forget a lot. And I just went to the dentist. Oh God, I shouldn't be saying this on air.
You're gonna say it though.
But I didn't go to the dentist for 6 years.
And I was like bothering him about it for years. Like,
Because
you need to go.
My excuse, which is a stupid excuse, but with WWE, they're not paying for your insurance, so I'm paying for my own, and I didn't want to pay an extra $100 a month for dental insurance because I was like, I got good teeth. So and then I just didn't make it. I didn't want to pay out of pocket either, so I just didn't go. So I went last year for the first time, and I'm like, oh my God. They're going to tell me I need to get teeth pulled. I'm going to get like adult braces. I'm going to have a root canal, all this stuff. Right? And lo and behold, like they're like, yeah, you got some tartar, you got some plaque buildup, but looks pretty good to me. Clean, bye. And I was like, oh my God.
I'm pissed.
So yeah, all that to say, like even with all that candy as a kid and everything, I've been pretty damn lucky with dental work.
Wow. That is, I wish I could say the same. My luck ran out when I was 17. And then that's when, I don't have riddled bad teeth. I don't have wooden teeth or nothing. But I mean, yeah, that's when I started coming into cavities, having to have teeth pulled. But I was good till then, so.
Yeah. I wish it's funny that like I was bothering him for years, like go to the dentist. And then like I was pissed when he came home. I was like, no, they just cleaned it. Like they just cleaned them. I have nothing wrong. Whereas every time I go to the dentist, I need a filling. They have to pull something and like honestly, I feel bad because like I haven't gone to the dentist in like 2 years because I had like a horrifying experience worthy of a horror movie. And like I haven't gone back since. So I'm just like, no, I have to go. I know I have to go eventually. Awful.
Do you feel like sharing that horror story of the dentist? I mean, I would love to hear.
Sure. So basically this was right before we got married, like the week of, God, this was a terrible week. We had like everything that could go wrong, like kind of went wrong with me right before our wedding. Oh, yeah. Like I got pink eye right before the wedding and the doctor was like, you can't wear makeup for a week or your contacts. I was like, dude, there's no way I'm not doing that. Anyway, but that same week, I went to the dentist for just a cleaning, and they were like, oh, we need to do a fill. And I was like, that's not a big deal. I've had fills in my life. And I don't know what happened. They were trying to numb me for the filling with like a little shot of lidocaine. And the lady couldn't find my nerve to save her life. Like she stuck me 11 times. 11 times with lidocaine, and I didn't know I was allergic to lidocaine because thank God I never needed lidocaine before, and I started convulsing on the table like I couldn't stop shaking, and they were like, you're fine, and I'm like, no, something's wrong, and I was like, call my husband and or my fiance at the time. Ooh. And like I couldn't stop shaking or anything, and they were like, you're fine, and they did the filling. I left, vowed never to go back. Turns out like 4 years later, I went to the emergency room because my back got thrown out, and they put a lidocaine patch on me. Same exact thing happened. I started convulsing on the table. Yeah. Matt was freaking out, and the nurse came in, ripped it off, and they were like, yeah, you're allergic to lidocaine. And I was like, no, it's fine. My dentist said it was fine last time I had lidocaine. They're like, it's not. They're like, you shouldn't have that happen. So, yeah, I haven't had lidocaine or a dental appointment since.
Wow.
So,
it's a good thing it wasn't as bad as it could have been, because having an adverse reaction to stuff like that can be very bad.
Well, thank God I was always in the hands of doctors whenever it did happen. But like apparently the first time it didn't go very well because they're like, shit's fine, keep going.
That's I'm like, who are you?
Well, I was like, you're in my mouth. I can't be making this easier for you with me like shaking all over the place. But yeah, I have to go back to the dentist. I don't know when I will, but maybe when I have a toothache. I don't know.
So it's like Little Shop of Horrors right there.
Yes.
The dentist.
A little bit.
You know, it's well, I kind of wanted to segue into kind of what my question was going to be. You know, I know for me, I'm a huge horror fan. I love horror movies, all types of genres, B movies. I go through Shudder, and I've already gone through everything they have to offer. Netflix, it's to the point where I'm a junkie. So my original question was going to ask, do you two watch horror movies together? And if so, what is your favorite horror movie that you both share? Or you can pick whatever separate ones you both have. And I'll throw in one last caveat question. Since we talked about The Dentist, can one of you name a horror movie you ever seen that had to do with teeth or a dentist?
Oh, okay. Well, you're gonna look really lame, but like Matt doesn't like horror movies.
That's not entirely fair.
Yes, it is. Every time I'm like, I want to watch a horror movie, you're like, eh. And I'm like, I'm not gonna make you watch it. Like,
no, I know, and like, so there are some classic like horror and genre stuff that I appreciate, but yes, I will admit, like, it's never my go-to. That kind of vibe motif is generally not. Doesn't appeal to me all the time, but it doesn't mean like if it's a horror movie I hate it. I'm not that like black and white about it. I can appreciate a quality film for what it is, but chances are I'll pick one. There's a few other things I would pick first.
He likes movies that are extremely depressing.
Yes.
With endings that aren't an ending, like they just leave you
open to interpretation, as art often does, which is a good thing.
You mean like Mother? Like a movie like Mother?
I didn't see Mother. Don't say anything.
Oh, no, I'm not saying nothing, but that's definitely that type of movie. I'm not saying nothing.
And I want to catch on. I can't believe that. But yeah.
But as far as me, like, okay, yeah. I will say, like, I don't, when it comes to horror, like, I like spooky, not scary. I know that's like super lame, but like I love American Horror Story, like the whole series. I love all that. Like my favorite movie of all time is Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes.
Like I like stuff like that. Like that's kind of more my genre, but like I get really freaked out like with like haunted houses and like legit scary movies. Like I will have nightmares for weeks about it. Like I'm also an extremely vivid dreamer. Like I'll wake up and like I can remember everything and I cry and I like get really worked up. But so yeah, spooky not scary. Bram Stoker's Dracula is absolutely my favorite. I have seen a horror movie when I was like 15 about the Tooth Fairy. Oh my god, I can't even remember what it's called. It was like
Tooth Fairy?
No, I think it was called Teeth or something. Like no, it's not even that. I think it was like oh god!
Is it like Before Dawn? I think it's Before Dawn. Is it where the Tooth Fairy? Yeah, Before Dawn. I think it is.
I think that's what it was because it wasn't what I thought it was. I think the cover kind of alluded to maybe this had something to do with like Teeth of the Tooth Fairy, but it was about that. And so I saw a lot of horror movies when I was younger, I guess. But yeah, I haven't. But American Horror Story is kind of like my like everything. True. I love American Horror Story.
What was your favorite season?
Okay, so like that's so hard. Like Coven, I love Coven so much, probably because I'm a witch, and so like that's like I'm impartial to that. But if I had to pick, like I think Apocalypse because it like just tied everything
together.
Oh yeah, I was marking out the whole time, and Matt was kind of watching it with me, and he was like, I don't understand this reference. I'm like, well, you wouldn't, would you? Because you don't like horror stuff.
The last season for me was my favorite because of the fact that the 80s horror films are when I was a kid growing up. Yes. And so to me, it was just so relatable. And then the best thing they do, and I know, Matt, you being someone who appreciates, actors and the craft, I love the fact that they use a lot of the same people.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. It's
I will say, that's one thing, like, I may not have sat down and binged it all and everything, but I've seen several episodes of several of the seasons that she's watching through, and I follow it as a concept, and it's kind of, I would say that cast is so lucky. It's like an actor's dream to each, like, you don't get stuck playing the same role for 9 years, which can be great too. But like the idea of like I can inhabit a different character, same show and same the kind of vibes, but like I get to play different things. Well, sometimes you're good, sometimes you're evil, sometimes you're this.
Well, and it's long enough to be able to have a good amount of character development throughout an entire season and then start fresh. So that's really cool. But that's actually I will give you this, like American Horror Story is like the one show he will sit down and watch with me and be like, oh, you can keep going if you want, kind of thing. And I'll be like, all right. But yeah, so.
Yeah, true.
Well, my favorite season is Coven, and it's for family reasons because I think I told the guys before, I grew up I'm from Louisiana. So I grew up and people were always telling me that, we're related to Marie Laveau, the voodoo priestess.
Stop, for real?
It's serious. And for a while, I didn't know as a kid really what it was until I got older and I looked it up because I'm what's called Creole. And so she was a Creole voodoo priestess and it's a real thing. I'm related to a voodoo priestess. It's quite interesting.
She's an OG, man. The goat. That's crazy.
So when that came out, Angela Bassett, I felt did a good job of being her, and it was just. But I enjoyed it, and I always look for the theme songs. I if you notice, every American Horror Story, they take the theme song tune and they twist it that fits what the scene of the is. That continuity like that is something that I think, Matt, you could appreciate because you're someone I think that. You may be interested. Have you ever seen the classic Nosferatu?
Black and white. No. I haven't, and I know that's like a huge sin of mine. I haven't seen it, but I'm like, it's on my watch list. But since we're in the end times right now, I guess, and we have a lot more time, I have no excuse now.
So my next question for the two of you, and you answered those questions very well. What are things, and I know, Matt, you're more of a Christmas guy, but I know that every good husband always wants to have fun with whatever the wife likes. What is that one thing that you do that your wife asks you to do every single year that you're like, you know what? I do this because I love you. I normally wouldn't do this, but I do this because I love you.
Like for Halloween?
For Halloween, particularly for Halloween.
Well, I don't know. I'll be fair. I don't know.
It's like you put me in the hot seat.
I have a story just to say. I love that you brought this question up, by the way, because every year I ask Matt, let's dress up. And he always straight up, flat out says, no, I will not do it. And it's not like I'm telling him. It's not like I'm giving you a lame costume. I've been wanting to do Morticia and Gomez Addams for years. And I want to do it.
Okay, well, all right. First of all,
explain yourself to the public.
I will. You put it out there as if I'm slapping down on the table no, I will not. I'm not that vigorous about it.
Have you done it?
Not that, no. But I say no. Yeah, I don't. I'll be honest. I'm not a huge. I haven't been keen to dress up. Maybe I'm lame. Maybe it's because I dressed up for work 300 days a year, and maybe I didn't want to dress up on a holiday at home. But that's not a good excuse. I do admit that is the one big thing she's always wanted me to do that I haven't done, which is the opposite of your question. Well, you're asking me what things do I do, and that's
what I was getting at.
But I guess I don't have anything. The things that I do, it's not something I don't like that I do because I'm trying to be nice, but I have gotten more into the decorating.
Yeah.
With I was never big in decorating for Halloween. It was all her, but I've gotten more I love to hang the lights. Yeah. I love to set up the living room and I love lighting and stuff. I've got the lighting here and the lighting here. I've gotten more into that as an adult, and so I enjoy doing the decoration a lot more than I used to when we first got together.
He's a lot more open to it. When this Halloween season came around, and we're all I think we're all struggling right now. We're all we haven't been at our best mental health or whatever, and it's just hard times. And I told Matt I was just having an off day, and I was we're going to Spirit Halloween. And I was like, you gotta let me do this. And we walked in, and I was already going crazy. I wanted everything. He's like, you get 3 things. Go. And so he's really good with meeting me halfway. So I will say that. One year you will do that for me though.
Yes.
And the obvious thing you could have done, Matt, was dressed up as Aiden English, just to have.
Oh.
So here's the thing. That would have been the worst costume.
Worse.
It's even worse than dressing up as, Jack Skellington. Just because, like, when you're a wrestler and you're a wrestler 24/7 for the 5 days, 52 weeks a year, you still, don't get me wrong, you still love wrestling, but when you get home from that loop and everything, the last thing you want to do for the 2 days you have at home or be that wrestler again. You're like, let me just recharge. So yeah, that is probably the one costume I would never wear outside.
I'd probably make him turn around and be like, turn around.
No,
just go.
She
change,
wouldn't allow it. Yeah.
Go change. Like, stick a name tag on your shirt.
Go dress up as Kane. I don't care. You just
care.
can't be Aiden English.
You can't be.
Now, you bring up an interesting point. Now, given your work, you can sing. I think that if someone put you in a Broadway musical, you'd smash it. And I'm being honest. Why not Jack Skellington? I mean, that would be freaking amazing. I mean, and that's one of my favorite movies.
And he is tall, pale, white, and skin and bones, which is pretty much how
you don't need hair.
And you don't, that's true, you don't need hair.
And the great thing is you can sing all the songs. You can sing Halloween Town. You can sing What's This? You can sing, I mean, you are the perfect Jack Skellington. I'm just saying. I'm being honest. Think about it.
And you've got a Sally right next to you.
You got Sally right there.
That's true.
Literally? Like, okay, Jack Skellington is on my, like, cartoon to-do list, if you know what I mean. Like, he's, like, one of my biggest cartoon crushes. Everyone has cartoon crushes. Don't give me that.
This is true. I have cartoon crushes.
I know, but I did like to tease you about it.
Anyway,
I think it would be excellent. If you guys do that, please send us pictures. I'm gonna say I'm gonna take credit for that one. I'm just gonna say
take credit. Take credit. I might bug him and be like, we're gonna do a photo shoot, like a cool photo shoot.
Okay.
And then we can do it for Halloween.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Matt, usually sometimes he glitches. He gets super excited, so he'll glitch out. And this is usually where I just
I'm glad
give
him a reason to glitch.
Yeah, it's not a problem. It's like Wreck-It Ralph too. He's just glitching out. Mm-hmm. Be okay. So you know what? We're continuing talking about Halloween. We've kind of gone over what each of your likes and don't likes in your history of Halloween. What would you say is the one particular meal you like to eat or cook for the Halloween season? Could be baking as well.
Yeah.
So I would say I'm kind of the one that ventures out of, like, if it were up to Matt, he would probably have chicken and broccoli and potatoes like every day of the week if he could.
Good,
so I'm the one that kind of like, I don't really cook in the summer.
Yeah.
Well, like, I don't really cook in the summer that often, but when it comes time for fall, I am all about it. I love, like, making, like, different kinds of chili. So I make this, like, white chicken chili for fall, and I make, like, regular chili. And then I also do, like, I don't know, I love, like, ciders and stuff like that. I love pie. I can bake, like, the pumpkin and apple pies and whatnot. So but yeah, I'm kind of basic. Like, I go with the pumpkin apple kind of stuff. But other than that, I'm trying to think of, like, what else I kind of cook. I love soup. I think, like, my friends kind of make fun of me a little bit because I'll have soup no matter what time of year it is. Like, I'm a little old lady about it. Like, I love soup. So I just embellish the soups for fall.
Sure.
So, and you like all of mine, actually.
No, you're great with that.
Yeah.
You're very good with that stuff. And then, I mean, I think, like, we don't do it a ton, but, like, it's fun to do, like, Halloween, like, cookies, things like that. I mean, baking,
so
cupcakes, decorated.
Well, last year I threw, so I'm a part of a dance group called the Vaudettes. Obviously, you guys know that. So I threw a big Halloween party for the VODs, and I made, like, these deviled eggs that had, like, what do you call it? Like, they looked all veiny and gross, and they had, like, what do you call it? Like, I did that. I had, like crazy blood cocktails, and, like, what else did I do? Like, I did I did the pumpkin with, like, the mouth open, and there was like guacamole coming out, so it looks like he was like thrown up and stuff. So like I did all of like those kind of fun like Pinterest Halloween kind of vibes. But yeah, I think I focus more on like the Halloween cocktails kind of thing, because it's that kind of Halloween party. But,
what's some good cocktails then?
I mean, we did like, oh my God, I think like one, and we finished it. I made like 2 big gallons of it, and it was like 7-Up and vodka, and then like cranberry juice, and I like froze like
Oh,
water.
I remember that. Yeah, with like eyeballs almost.
Well, no, I froze like, so you get a glove and you fill it up with water, and then you put it in the freezer, and then you have like these ice hands,
floating hands.
Yeah, like floating hands in there and whatnot. So like I just did that kind of stuff, and then but then I think eventually everybody just turned to the tequila, and that was kind of where we all I don't know, that was the last we remember.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that always the case with tequila?
It is always the case. And then like the beer pong and the flip cup, and we're, oh dear God, it was a journey. It was fun though.
Matt, have you taken her to any of the like the fall festivals, the pumpkin patches? Because there's so many different places to go around in LA.
There are. I mean, there's a lot within driving distance here. I mean, no, I don't think we've ever done.
I think like last year, like Matt was still on the road a lot, so like we were kind of missing each other. And then like Halloween is actually normally is my busiest time of year between the Vaudettes, because we get booked a lot because we're kind of a darker kind of group, like darker sultry group. So we were getting booked a lot. I was doing burlesque almost like every weekend. So like we actually kind of missed each other a lot last year.
We were super busy.
Yeah, we were
October
was
very, very busy.
And then this year, I don't know if any of that's going to be going down.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
Yeah, it might be one of the few things that is going down, because at least it's outside. It's kind of open air, and so they might have something. We should look into it.
Yeah, for my birthday.
There you go. Do you guys get any? And again, this year is going to be totally different. But do you guys get any trick or treaters?
No, and I'm so sad because we're on like a second floor of like a walk-up kind of situation. So our first floor pretty much gets any trick-or-treaters if they come. But I mean, I love looking at trick-or-treat. Like I love like giving the candy out. I always end up giving it out like.
But I notice it's crazy. I don't, and maybe I'm insane. Maybe I'm just I've turned into a crusty old person or something already. But even before we moved here into the city, we lived out in the west suburbs again. We had a house out there. I feel like even the 2 years we lived there,
we didn't get a lot.
Got like half a dozen trick-or-treaters over the course of the night. Like nobody's out after dark. The minute the sun's down, everybody, no parents talk. I was out till like 9, 10 o'clock as like an 8-year-old, right? Like getting with a giant sack of candy. But no, once sun, like they're from 3 to 5, you're lucky if you get half a dozen kids after school or whatever, and that was it. And that was in the suburbs. So yeah, it's a little bit even less common here in the city going door to door like that. So I know I do. I miss it. I wish it happened more.
And even then, like half the time, the trick or treaters were like 16-year-olds that didn't even have a costume. They were like, oh, I'm Freddy because I have a sweater, and I'm just like, boo. And so it's just, I don't know.
Wow.
We've been kind of jaded with trick or treaters for a while. So, but I wish I could get some cool ones. Like that'd be fun.
Yeah, it's because I did apartment living too, and we, you didn't get anyone. Especially I was living in LA, and it was just like a totally different world with that. But my buddy grew up in LA, and his family is like an extended family for me, and so I started going over to his place. He would set up, we call it the Hamlin Street Haunt, I think it was, and he's still doing it, and hopefully he's doing it this year. And maybe at like a distance where people are like kind of driving by slowly, like looking at Christmas lights type of thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
But he sets up, he uses a tarp basically and poles and makes a haunted house in the driveway.
Oh, that's cool.
That's so fun.
And then he established for years a character. He wears this looks like the Sting mask, the crow face. Yeah. And he has like a jacket on, like a trench jacket and a hat. and he has an actual machete that he scrapes on the ground.
Wow, that's awesome.
People fucking flip. It's just, it's, it's cool when you can do fun shit like that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember the first time I came, I encountered the whole like, I don't know, I don't think they were real machetes, but like the guys that wore like they're like knee pads, but they have like just metal on them. Like yes, and I the first time was when I was like 13 and I went to Hallow Scream at Busch Gardens, and like I did not know what I was in for, and like they were on rollerblades and like these scary masks, and they would just like skirt right in front of you, and you were just like, I swear, I remember being so embarrassed because I legit like peed my pants a little, like, and I was 13 with like I just wasn't okay, like, hey, but it was dope at the time. It was like the best birthday party ever.
Hey, this happens. It happens. It's okay.
Right.
They did their job. They were just doing their job.
When I worked at Universal Studios as a tour guide, and in 2001, and this is Hollywood, Universal Hollywood. In 2001, they had an Undertaker maze. Wow. So,
hell yeah.
So what? There was one guy who was actually had some pro wrestling experience, and I myself trained, but I'm not big enough to play the Undertaker, but I could do the voice. Mm-hmm. So I was put up on a perch, and what I would do was literally there was a light on me, and as they walked in, I would throw a dummy on a bungee cord towards them, and then it would fly back up to me, and I had the hat and the makeup and stuff, and then I would rest in peace and the voice, all that kind of stuff. And it was fucking fun. It was especially fun when Mark actually went through the maze.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's great.
Wow. Yeah.
Did you get to do it? Were you there when he went through the maze? Like, did you? Oh my god! How cool!
Got to do it towards it. Yeah.
What was his reaction?
Well, it wasn't easy for me to tell because it was dark and smoke and all that kind of shit. But you could tell that, I mean, you could hear kind of a rumble, like they, laughing or, having a good time with it. And that's the key to Halloween. Yes. It's all about just having a fucking good time.
Yeah.
Now,
it's so fun.
Speaking of good times, you kind of described a party, but for both of you guys, is there a memory that stands out of the most like bitchin' party that you guys ever had?
Oh man, like, so Matt and I are kind of lame, like when it like I think I'm more of the party person, and 100%. Usually when I do the parties, like it's for me and like my bod troop, and like I send him away, like you can go to your parents or whatever, and take the dog, like just go, because like otherwise like me and him are pretty low key. We like to just hang out and
I haven't been to a party in like the colloquial sense, like that you see outside of like family Christmas or Thanksgiving. Like I'm like a party like
our wedding.
Well over a decade.
Wow.
Like I never since I was even a teenager in high school, college. It was not my thing. I may be a performer, but I'm a hardcore introvert. Mm-hmm. Being around people, especially like strangers, like my family's fine, but like a lot of people I don't know, I can enjoy it, but I wear out quick. Like I can last an hour and then I gotta go home. Like it's not my thing. I don't like getting wasted. I don't know. I just am not built for partying in the traditional sense.
I feel like to answer your question best though is like when we were living in Florida, me and Matt had a really good time when we would like, he's an introvert, I'm actually an introvert, like I'm cool for a little bit, but other than that I'm like but we went to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios, and we love theme parks like hardcore, like we are like Disney freaks, Universal freaks, and so I feel like for Halloween, like I think like that was our best time was when we went to Halloween Horror Nights. Matt had to carry me through the mazes or through the haunted houses that we did go through, but like we just enjoyed ourselves like there and like enjoyed like just what a great job they do with like the scenery and the different I guess like what do you call it, like they're like vignettes that they have throughout the park. So I think that was like our best time that we've had on Halloween.
Yeah,
Like,
especially as far as Halloween stuff, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do have to encourage, if we ever get back to normal, and you guys have that time where you can, around this season, September to October, Knott's Berry Farm is one of the best.
Oh,
Really?
yeah, I've heard things about Knott's Berry.
Not Scary Farm is what.
Yeah,
they
Knott's
call
Berry
it.
Farm.
Yeah,
Yep.
Not Scary Farm. Yeah.
They
Oh,
do.
like as far as like Halloween?
They
like,
deck
kind
out
of
the
vibe?
whole thing. Yeah, the whole thing is Halloween. We're talking about Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, they really do a good job.
Yeah, like
Really good
about 12 mazes, I would say,
Mhm.
per year. And then what they would they have a show, usually for years it was Ed Alonzo, the magician, but then Elvira took it over.
No.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Aw.
Really cool stuff. And then what they do is they do a parody about basically all the shit that's going on for the past year, and it's called The Hanging. And because it's an Old West theme park, the base is Knott's Berry Farm, they have this Old West building that's a facade, basically, and they set up a huge hangman, noose and pole.
A gallow, right?
A gallow, yes.
Yeah.
And then you get a whole story through parodies of all these different, celebrities and people who've made news, and they all get shot by the hangman, and you see the blood packets spurt and stuff, and it's one of the best stunt shows. It's amazing. Yeah. And then finally it leads up to them hanging, let's say, if I think the one year it was, I want to say it was Call Me Maybe, that girl who got
about the girl that sang the song Call Me Maybe.
Well, someone dressed as her.
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
Yeah, it was the one who would get hung every night.
Oh, wow.
So they pick someone, yeah. And it's a fucking blast. It's a great time. So
That's cool.
Put that on your to-do list.
We will for sure. I feel like we really enjoy that kind of stuff because, like I said, I don't like the haunted houses. I'll do like maybe one or two because I'm the worst person to take through a haunted house. Like,
oh God, yeah,
I'm the worst and whatnot. But but I love like the scenery and the shows. Like, what I think we went the year like Chance was a big deal. I don't know if you guys remember Chance from that whole situation. I actually ended up doing a show with the girl that was Chance like a year later.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I was a scare actor for Halloween Horror Nights for a little bit, but yeah, I just love the whole vibe of it. I'll sit there and hang out all night, but take me into a house and I'm done. You have to check out Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. Now, I know you said you not really into haunted houses. How would you feel about a haunted museum? And not in the sense of a museum that's possibly haunted, but a museum that contains haunted relics or historical cult relics.
Yes.
Because every year, and the last time we talked to you, Shaul, every year for my birthday, I think for the past 5 years, because my birthday is on the 12th. So I take all my friends, we go to, here in Las Vegas, Zach Baggins' haunted museum here in Las Vegas. He's the guy who was from Ghost Adventures.
Okay.
Yeah, so he owns a museum. The site is haunted, but he has everything from the original Dybbuk box. He has a room that's dedicated to all serial killers. It's pretty exciting. The tour takes about 45 minutes to 50 minutes, but outside, and it's open now for COVID. You have to make an appointment, of course.
Okay.
But they have it to where outside there's entertainment. You have clowns walking around, entertaining you, juggling, but it's like horror type. It's a very excellent original attraction here to Las Vegas, and it's always busy. So I don't know how you feel about that, but if you're ever in Las Vegas in the future, you gotta go. Zach Baggins.
Literally,
that's your thing.
That's my thing. I get nerdy about I think we talked mostly about the occult last time we all talked and whatnot, but that would be that would be my birthday present. I feel like I'd be yes, let's do that, and then like have a good dinner. Like that would be like the best night ever. So we have to figure that out.
Yeah.
You will like it because that's my birthday present to myself every October. Yeah.
Oh, I'm jealous. Now we got. Well, me and Matt have like we've only ever spent like one night in Las Vegas as adults, and I wanted to like actually have like a couple days there to like actually enjoy it properly. Because otherwise, I don't think. Besides that one time me and you went as adults, and when you were not working, you were like a kid, and so he couldn't gamble or drink or anything like that. So we got to go back to Vegas
for sure.
Do it right.
100%.
Well, I'm telling you right now, just to confirm, Vegas is open. The Strip is open. Our bars are open. You have to wear a mask when you get in, but when you get to your table, you can take that bad boy off to throw back a drink. And, you know, maybe right now with downtime might be the best time for y'all to take a little trip. Just saying.
We're trying to figure, like, we've had 2 vacations planned this year that we've had to promptly cancel due to COVID. And so we've been trying to figure out a way to, like, just get out of our house somehow and, like, have a little, like, a baby vacation that's doable.
True.
So we got to figure something out.
When you think about what makes a movie or even a real life occurrence, what to you is the definition of horror?
Ooh. Oh God, we're getting deep.
I don't know why that just hit me, but I just thought, because it's, we can.
When I forget her birthday. like that kind of definition of horror, because that's
good.
That's Armageddon on my end.
So real quick, Michaels, are you asking what's an example? Like for me, when I think of like horror, I think of a tie between Salem's Lot type of vibe and Fangora magazine. So anywhere between those two, to me, that's horror. Like, it's kind of stylistic.
Yeah, like the definition of the genre of the horror. That's what you think of the word horror, like what do you think of, kind of thing? Oh. Yeah, it's got. I mean, I think for me, it's probably right off the bat. All that comes ahead is like zombies and vampires.
There you go.
And maybe that's just because of pop culture the last like decade, but but any of them. I mean, Night of the Living Dead. I mean, like Dracula. All of those things, like classic horror. Those are the things I think of, movies and everything that pops into my head immediately.
I mean, I think maybe I'm getting like a little too deep, probably. I guess when I think of horror and like, I guess like fear and like like it's all about stimulating fear and like, I guess going into what one is actually afraid of. And I think that's why I love American Horror Story so much, is because literally throughout all of their seasons, they play on real shit that like legit makes people scared. And like, I didn't even realize like I had like certain phobias until I watched it. Like I didn't realize I had like a whole phobia until cults. And I was like, oh my God, what is this right now? And like even how they played on like the election and stuff like that. Like they've done just so many beautiful things with the genre, and it's beautifully done too. I think like the horror genre, I love the aesthetic of it all, and like the lighting and the makeup, like the prosthetics, and like, I mean, that's all really awesome as far as like Hollywood horror. But I feel like it's all about like really tapping into people's fears and making it entertaining. 100%. I think that's the beauty of it.
So, Shaul, you said that you have a whole fear. I don't know what the official term of it is. I don't know what it is. I was trying to look it up. Matt, what's your fear?
So,
claustrophobia. Small spaces.
Really?
Oh, hardcore.
Wow.
Yep.
Real bad.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
That's a scary one.
Until we were like, what were we were doing? We were like sitting in like a little pod or something, and you started like not being okay. Mm-hmm. I was like, what's wrong?
Depending if I don't feel like I have an escape or something like that, or if it's hard to see, it gets bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
The one movie that Ryan Reynolds did about 3 years ago, where he was buried. And
God.
That's where I was like, nope.
I've never watched it. I
I think it's buried alive.
Because like I love concept movies, and the idea of like, oh, an entire movie taking place within a 6x3 box.
Yeah.
Like, as far as I know, I don't think it goes anywhere else. It just literally stays with him the entire time. I'm like, as a concept, that's so cool. I want to see if they can pull it off. 90 minutes, in one scene. It's like a Reservoir Dogs kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, can they pull it off? But I was like, I don't know if I can handle it. I still want to see if I can watch it just to see if I could like handle it. But I think I would. I don't know. I'd have to take a break for air somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But just want to let you know, the movie is Buried, 2010.
Yep. There you go.
Thank you.
Very good.
I think that was why like one of like the scariest movies I've ever seen was The Strangers, because like I also was scared of like, people breaking in and like doing horrible things, because like as a child, like we had a lot of break-ins in my house, or like attempted break-ins, and we had this god awful alarm, and like it was just like, I remember like watching The Strangers was really hard for me. I don't think I could ever watch it again because it's just like it's too close to home.
Yeah.
I will share my fear, and it's totally opposite. I am not scared of demons. I am not scared of monsters, ghouls, or tax collectors. Well, I probably should be fearful of tax collectors. But what I am scared of is serial killers. I like murder mysteries. Those shows like Netflix's, they rebooted Unsolved Mysteries.
That's a good one.
Creeps me out. Like just how they presented in a documentary film of this person, and they started by hurting animals and then they moved on. Like that creeps me out. Like seeing pictures of people who got killed by some or assassinated, the killer was in the picture with them at some point. That creeps me out.
Valid.
Nothing, but real people scare the shit out of me.
Well, it's because it's awful, because it's like the victims they didn't have it coming at all, and like they were just like innocent people at the wrong place at the wrong time. Their number was up, and I think that's what makes it so scary.
Yes.
It's like you just happen to cross paths with the wrong person.
Have you seen that documentary on HBO about the EAR?
No, I haven't.
Oh
and you probably won't, because it's exactly what you're talking about.
Oh my god.
We haven't been able to.
Yeah, it is. It's unsettling.
Oh, really? Wow.
Watch it. Well,
Wow.
it'll
What is it called again?
It's called, I'll Be Gone in the Dark.
I'll Be Gone in the Dark, about the East Area rapist and slash serial killer, turns to a serial killer, but like, and it's awful. I won't give away too much, but basically like this guy just like blows away all you would expect from a rapist, and like it was crazy. He made it like a game, like it was like a game,
and they just get away with it for decades. Sometimes they lose the trace of them, like they don't for years, and then boom, they hit again, like they do a string again, and you're like, oh, so like it's not something that happens over a summer and it's done or whatever. Like sometimes over decades, and you're like, it's just I get goosebumps right now.
Oh man.
Well, you haven't been able to work up the courage to get back into it.
And Matt, you wouldn't. I mean, I don't know if you were born yet when Gacy was doing his shit in Chicago. John Wayne Gacy.
No, I think that was before my time.
That was a few years before you were born. I was right at that age of the kids he was preying on.
Yeah.
So when you learn that shit as a little kid, it freaks you out. And then by the time I become 15, now you got Jeffrey Dahmer coming down from Wisconsin to Chicago to get, young gay men, and bring them up. And, it's just like, man, growing up, there was a lot of, serial killer stuff and that vibes coming out of Chicago area. And it was really fucking scary.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my mom would always freak me out because she was like, she grew up in like the 70s, 80s. And so that was kind of like big serial killer kind of like there was just a lot of big serial killers at the time. And so when I was little, she gave me the whole spiel, like never, like scream if somebody wants you to get in their car or whatever. But then like sometimes she would just be really random and like she would watch the news. She would just come to me randomly and just tell me like scary things, like I think to make me scared. That way I just never like wandered off or I don't know, did anything stupid, because I think she was like legit freaked out about them too.
Wow.
I love your mom so much. That is awesome.
That's so weird. So do I. It's weird. Maybe for different reasons, but
Probably. I don't know if she was calling me up and saying, "Hey, Matt, there's a serial killer you got to watch out for."
Yeah.
But she has that aura of her, like she would probably tell somebody like you should be careful out there, you know, type
well,
of
she cares a lot about like the people she loves, and she always meant well. I just remember even like till this day, like when she tells me bad news, she just drops it on me like randomly, like in a text. She'll be like, "Oh, by the way, da 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 da." I'm like, "What the?" Like I'm in the middle of something. You couldn't have like called me or
Eased into
like
it.
eased into it a little bit. Like, hey, I need to tell you something.
Somebody's
That might be
dead.
a little unsettling. Yeah, no, she just like drops it on me like nothing, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, well, thanks for that. But she always has good intentions behind it.
Is that a total contrast to your family, Matt?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, when we talk, yeah.
We're very different.
Yeah, our upbringings and everything were very, very, very different, for sure. But I love her mom though. Still, she's awesome.
It's funny because I feel like the biggest difference we've discovered with our families is like my family. I don't know if it's like our Mexican heritage or whatnot. We love hard and we fight hard. So we would like yell and scream when we were like, you know, in the middle of a family fight or whatnot. And then we would also like, we make sure we kiss each other bye every time. We like hug 10 times before we leave and whatnot. And we're just very like that. And like when the first time I witnessed him like getting off the phone with his mom, he was like, "Okay, bye, I'll talk to you later." And like click. And I was like, I was like, "You're not going to tell your mom you love her?" And he was like, "She knows I do." I was like, "Well, when was the last time you said it?" He was like, "I don't know, like a month ago." I was like, "Oh my God." And I like freaked out. And like, even then, like when I went visit his family, I was like, "Hug your mom, hug her." And like,
I always hug my mom.
No, you do way less touchy-feely than we are. Like we're very like different in that way.
We're like our family. We're Irish Catholic, so there's a lot of repression going on a lot of the time.
We're the sweetest, best people in the entire world.
And I'm extremely lucky, but like we're very like here. It's like ups and downs are kind of like here. Everything's pretty usually even keel or whatever. Where I think you got a little bit more of this going on.
Yeah,
like when it's good, oh my God, it's so beautiful and emotional and intense. But
we're an extreme. We're an extreme family for sure.
As we kind of get towards the end here, one of the things that I think that we got going on now is, like you kind of said earlier, kind of the apocalypse feeling. So the question is, whether it be aliens or zombies. Now, obviously, you two are a couple, so we're not going to isolate you two, you know, on separate teams. You're together. Okay. Who are 3 people that you guys would choose to help you fight off the zombie or alien apocalypse?
Barack Obama. 1.
There's your negotiator.
I miss him. I miss him.
I mean, Barack
Obama. Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin.
Can we bring him back?
Like zombie Steve Irwin?
Steve Irwin, it would be probably after you.
I mean,
specify alive or dead.
He's crocodile hunter, not the zombie hunter.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if she brings him back, he'll be a zombie crocodile hunter.
Scratch that.
Fine.
We're not doing Steve
I'm just
Irwin.
saying he has a lot of skills. I think that could benefit us in a
and you know what? I love it, but I love it. But scratch Obama, man. Like we're talking end times. We're talking about chopping heads off of zombies. We're talking about giving State of the Union. Hell yeah! But when we're talking about shooting flaming arrows into the eyes,
you're right, Michelle.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna. Michelle would do that, wearing some Target pants.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, fine. Sorry, I kind of went crazy. That's hard.
Are we doing like any human like on the planet or like people in our lives that we actually know?
Yeah.
Anyone that you would think of that would be.
I don't know. Steve. Like,
well, no, but like, maybe. Like I don't know. We know some resourceful people.
Anyway.
Oh
my God.
I'm trying to think of people like who like him, like MacGyver. I don't know. You know, I mean, like who's gonna be able to like get us out of any situation with a toothpick? Like.
This is hard.
You know what I mean?
I still stand by Steve Irwin. Isn't it weird that I can't get him out of my head?
No, so like not Steve Irwin, because whatever. Like Bear Grylls, like sure, like survivalist kind of stuff. Like, hey, who can help? Yeah, we got to run and live in the forest for 6 weeks. We at least have someone who can help us forage and things like that.
Okay.
I think that someone like that's a good one. Like, let The Rock, screw it. I feel like he can do everything. I mean, like, he's rational and like well spoken. So if we meet like a tribe of like crazy people, he could like talk them down, but he could kick their ass. I mean, the man just ripped his own gate off of his own house the other day.
Okay, all right.
So like he's got all sides of things. It's a good balance.
All right.
And he survived Jumanji twice. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and made a ton of money. Like, took the cheesiest franchise
also,
ever.
he has money. He has money.
Well, money won't mean anything in the apocalyptic world.
We can buy a bunch of.
The money means nothing.
Okay, well, he has a more secure house than our like little walk up. Like,
that's probably true.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
Yeah,
this is really hard. I don't know like people like that.
I don't know either. I mean, who do you round it out with? You got to we need someone.
Jesus.
Apparently
he's alive. We've heard it for years.
You never run out of wine.
There's a reason why they call him that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Richard Branson, because he has his own island.
Interesting.
Yeah, some billionaire who has their own private island that you set up a compound on. Something like that.
Okay. Well, what happens if you run out of food and resources? You got to get off the island.
I eat Matt.
Do what you gotta do. Yeah, you know what I mean? Well, again, hopefully you try to plan out as much as you can. Hopefully somebody with a plane or some fuel.
Oh,
and we start
you meant
bartering
plan
for
out
fuel.
Like what part of the body I was going to use.
That comes later.
Later.
All right, so
I'll answer that brilliantly.
Final question. Are you guys pumpkin spice people?
Yeah.
I could care less.
No shame. I'm that basic bitch. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. If this is what I get, like for 2020, give me the pumpkin spice. I don't care.
It's the one indulgence you can't have during this COVID is some pumpkin spice, right?
Yes. I'm like, just give it to me. Just give it to the world. It's fine. It's fine.
So go ahead, Simon.
No, I was just gonna say, are you that woman in Starbucks that gets very upset when it's out of season?
Oh my God, no. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's one thing. I will never be mean to service people, like, because like the service industry, like, I'm sorry. I'm in the service industry as well. I'm also a bartender, like a server, and like people that are like shitty to servers and people that are working for you, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
If it's out of season, I will show my despair inwardly. I will suffer in silence and just tuck my tail and walk away. That's all. But I'm not a witch. I could probably make my own pumpkin spice at home.
That part.
And with that, pumpkin spice being your go-to, Matt, do you have a go-to like a coffee drink or like an adult beverage?
I mean, adult beverage. I mean, come on, just straight whiskey. That's the go-to beverage. But for like, I'm a tea guy in the morning. Okay. So I am just straight black tea with some little bit of sugar, and I am good. If I'm going coffee, I can do it. I'm super like basic in the actual meaning of the term basic, of just like no frills. Maybe a cappuccino or straight espresso, black. And black tea.
Super.
I drink black coffee. That's all I drink. Every once in a while, I'll get frou-frou and have a pumpkin spice, but that's usually on a Friday.
Sure.
So basically, you guys are just drinking hot bean water.
Yes.
It does the job. It does the job.
All right.
This is just distilled corn water, if you want to describe it that way. But it's delicious. It's a revelation.
What are you drinking right now? What's in your cup?
Yeah, what brand?
This is Maker's Mark 101, not regular Maker's Mark. It just started hitting shelves nationwide. They released it wide. So
awesome. I'm a Jameson man, but that's
what? Say that again.
I'm a Jameson man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think JMO is what made me want to drink like an adult.
I love JMO.
No, and it is, but like I just had so many like of those early 20s go for it, whether in college or when I first started wrestling with the boys. Like you just go out in the town. That was my go-to because I was like I grew up Irish and that's what I knew in the house. I was like, I'll take a shot of Jameson with that. So like I just had the bad memories attached to it. I'm not. It's perfectly fine, but like in my life, it's the one that's like, all right, we're gonna stay away from that one for a while.
I love pickleback. That's the best. That's the best.
You know what? You just nailed it because for me it was Jack Daniels. But what I would do was I would show up at parties with 2 bottles of Jack and just chug straight from the bottle.
Oh man, hardcore.
Well, you know what? But you know what? I think you said the key word there, Matt, and that is the boys. And whether if you're on the road with, you know, I've done it with crews, I've done it with wrestling buddies, I've done it with acting buddies, I've done it with my regular buddy. You just feel that like camaraderie and then that obligation of, oh shit, okay.
And just rolling, yep.
Yeah, don't punk out. Don't punk out now. We need you.
Yeah, keep up, keep going.
Yep. There was one.
I hear it. Yep.
There was one time we were in Columbus, Ohio I was working on Super Nanny, and it really got, you know, kind of boring. And so you'd go down to the lounge after doing a, you know, 12, 14-hour day. And one of our production guys, he insisted that we drink Patron, but top level, I think it was like Patron Silver or whatever the highest level was. And I'm not a big tequila guy. And that stuff was like going down like it was water. It was like, I've never been so like, first of all, I can't drink any other tequila now than Top Shelf.
I ruined you.
Yeah. And number 2, I don't think I've ever had that wake up in the morning feeling like that type of like, what the fuck just happened last night?
Tequila hangovers are bad.
Yeah, tequila will do you dirty. I had like one bad tequila night, and as a bartender, even last night I was bartending and I was pouring people like these kind of lower shelf like tequila shots, and like my mouth, you know, like right before you upchuck, like your jaw starts to water. It still waters for me. I'm like, I'm like, enjoy your shots, and it's just like.
When it comes out of the bottle, when you're pouring like that, that smell just drifts up to you.
Yeah, it's bad, and I'm just like, no.
That's how you can always tell.
Like, no.
Simon, any final questions?
You know what? I think we covered everything, but instead of a question, I do have a suggestion. I mean, since this show, you know, we kind of put Matt in a bit of a predicament a little bit. And I have to give kudos to you, man, because you were a champ through it all. You answered the questions, went with the punches. Much props.
I'm throwing him under the bus, too. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's all right. Hey, I deal with it. I put my both shoulders on the mat and looked up those lights a lot of times. I'm used to taking the fall, baby.
But you know what? I have a proposition, and if it can happen, we're going to set you up. So that way we can turn the tables. You know, October, Halloween, Christmas, December. I don't know. Maybe, you know. We'll have my people call your people, and we'll flip the script.
I mean, I ain't mad at it.
I can take a receipt.
She already knows it's coming.
It's coming. It's okay.
Well, with that cliffhanger, we just left it on a cliffhanger. I love it. So with that cliffhanger, you're listening today, just count down, I think it's about 6 weeks or so, 6-7 weeks until Christmas. So get ready. Yeah. Well, yeah. What is it? If it's October 30th, December 25th. So yeah, around 7 weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
And then New Year's, and hopefully 2021 will make this all go away.
I think there's going to be a commercial when the ball drops on 2021. What are you drinking? Because I think we're all drinking. Yep. Get this 2020 the hell out of here.
No.
Whatever cleanses the past year from our systems, that's what we'll be drinking.
I got sage ready and everything. Sage and everything.
Yes.
Get it out.
Bro,
all
if
of all the obsidian. We're just gonna be carrying obsidian and sage and be like, just get it out, get it out.
if it's anything, if everything goes the way it's planned, maybe everything will be okay. But if things go the way I don't want it to go, I think I'm gonna have to like Jonestown Kool-Aid it and just be like, out of here.
Bye.
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 It's literally bye.
Well, on that note, everybody, I can't thank Shaul and Matt enough for being with us today. I hope everyone enjoyed this, got into a little bit of the Halloween spirit, maybe got some spirits on, and hopefully then we will see all you listeners and viewers back in December for a little Christmas episode. If at that time the situation allows, contracts allow, of course, and the biggest thing is if we're still all around by Christmas,
the world exists,
because we're November 3rd is right around the corner, so people also remember to vote.
Amen.
All right. Everybody, thank you for listening. And remember, subscribe, download, share, review, and just listen to all the different podcasts that the Vegas Bad Boys podcasts offer. And thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
See you soon.
Awesome.